All right, let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right, cool. So welcome to episode 2 of the Full Spectrum podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Bean. And today I've got a special guest, somebody I've actually known for a long time, but haven't seen in a long time, unfortunately. And that's Calvin, or how do you like to go by these days, Calvin? What do you like people to refer to you?
Just Calvin's fine. It's funny. I'm such a regular person these days that titles and empowerment, all that stuff doesn't matter. It really just matters about who you are and what you believe in.
Yeah, you're not getting called chef anymore, right? Like, did you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that was your main moniker when you were in the restaurants, right?
Yeah. I've been in the restaurant industry for the last 20 years. And so chef is something that I heard a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think the term chef is a little bit overused. And it really took me changing my career path to really understand what that term chef means. So to me, and I hear it throughout my travels, and I hear it, used quite loosely over the internet. But chef to me is somebody who trains another person or other people, and they become chefs. They become high dignitary individuals in the F&B world, and then you pay respect, you pay homage to your chef by calling him or her chef. And I think only then should one really use that terminology. I call my mentors, the guys who got me into cooking 20 years ago, I call them chef because they taught me. I've taught a number of people throughout my career. They respect me as their chef, so I respect them as my chef. So I think terminology these days is a little bit loose in what one wants to be. Everybody wants to be a CEO, but in order to be a CEO, you have to have a board of directors. And I guarantee you, no one-man operation has a board of directors.
Yeah. I do for my S corp, but so it's what you're saying about the chef. It sounds like it's kind of a hierarchy, almost like to bring it into like an entertainment sphere, like the Jedi from Star Wars, right? Like the chef is like Master Yoda, right?
That's exactly what it is.
All the cooks, they're like the Padawans learning to be Jedi, right? And then so the Luke Skywalker coming up, and then you be the Luke Skywalker, and then eventually Rey comes along, and you're going to train Rey, the future generation, right?
Exactly, and it's really about who do I share my skill sets with? Who do I share my techniques with? And then what do they become later on? If they become somebody who then teaches other people and their students consider him or her chef, then you pay back that homage to me or to whoever it is as a chef. But yes, I haven't heard it's been about a year now. I haven't heard the term chef.
Oh man.
And it's quite interesting. So
yeah, is that hard to get used to? Like, because you spent so much time in the kitchens, and then now you're not in kitchens anymore. What's that like?
Aaron, for your millions of followers and viewers right now, they probably don't know what's going on. So about a year ago, I took a year sabbatical from my occupation as a chef and as a restaurateur to go suck at something in life and be very horrible at it. And I used YouTube as a medium, and I threw myself into the YouTube world as a host of my own channel, of my own show.
Time for a plug. What's that show?
It's called FKN Deliciousness. Is how you find me on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook. But the fans might have also seen me on another show called Best Ever Food Review Show, which happens to be the #2 food and travel show on YouTube.
Yeah, how did that come about? Because I remember when I saw that, because obviously I'd watched Sonny's videos, when I lived in Vietnam, so I knew who he was, and then somehow I got this recommendation of this very familiar face I saw on this YouTube thumbnail. I'm like, holy shit, I know that guy. And I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, dude, I know this guy. Like, he's on this show, right? And I watched all the videos. It was awesome. You guys had a great rapport. Like, how did that relationship come together?
Well, thank you, thank you. We've been friends now for going on 6 years. Same time I met you during the Sancho's days.
Oh yeah, no, you
And
met me. I met you before the Sancho's days. I was going to go
oh
over
wow,
that. I
Pop
I
fries.
remember, yeah, pop fries. Because I remember up in that district, I was living in District 3, and I was just pretty new to Vietnam, so I was not super like comfortable just going to a random place and grabbing food, right? Because you didn't know what you were going to get. And I was like driving around, and I saw pop fries, and I was like, I know fries are. Like I know what I'm getting there. And you were working that day, and I'm lucky you were because I got to meet you, and we
Sure,
friended each other on Facebook. And then
sure.
the thing that I love most is like I didn't see you again for a couple months, like maybe 4 or 5 months. And then at that point, I think you had Sancho's, and so I saw you there, and I was like, "Holy shit, what's up, man?" And you remembered all these details from our conversation that like it had been months, and I was like, "How does this guy remember this stuff?" Like, you have a good memory, but it also shows that you listen to people, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really is a it really is a gift that I worked on really hard. But to go back to, not being called a chef and
Yeah.
to do this, um, when when you're so comfortable at doing something and you've almost mastered a certain skill set, and then you do something completely different than what you did in beforehand, it really makes you want to grow. It makes you want to
Hmm.
become something better, especially once I failed most of my life. I think I have more failures than I have successes.
Hmm.
But it's the successes that I focus on. It's the people who have support me that I focus on the most. Um, how does it feel not to be known as a chef? It it really makes me become me. There isn't, you can't just walk into a room and say, oh, hey, I do YouTube. I have 16 followers or subscribers. No, no,
Yeah.
no one's going to pay you any mind. And so it's starting over again. It's starting from the very bottom, but this time knowing what does it take to succeed? What does it take to grow? What does it mean to be successful that doesn't have any monetary value? It doesn't have any tangible assets. It really is just working hard and believing. Now, how Sunny and I started to work together was this. Being friends for so long, we've never once asked each other for any help. Even though his channel right now hovers around 7.8 million subscribers,
Dang.
6 years ago, I think he was hovering around 30 or 40 when he was just starting out. And I never asked them for a plug. I never said, hey, come to my restaurant and give me a free episode so I can be seen by all your viewers.
Yeah.
We rarely talk about business as both small business owners, but what we did do is we both worked really hard, and we both have a really high level of work ethics. So years go by, he comes by the restaurants whenever we open a new one and show support by just coming and dining, and I show support by cooking for him. So when COVID first started in 2020 March, he came at me in April and said, hey, I'm running out of ideas of what to film. Come be on my show for one episode. And I got to be honest, I've never seen any of his episodes before. I've never seen one of his shows.
What?
Yes, because when you're friends, you don't think about.
Did you tell him that?
Oh yeah. I
Like,
said,
hey, man, by the way,
I've never seen an episode. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And he said, well, don't worry about it. Just come to win. So I had no excuses not to go. So we did our first episode together, and that was the hot pot episode. And he has a great crew. He's a great host. He is a great director. He is a great visionary. So working that 12-hour day to get a 16-minute episode really showed me what production and what it takes to really create a show food wise.
You're saying they don't just walk around with an iPhone and record things and put it together with
not at all. I mean, I think there's a difference, and there's a difference between, and you know, we talk about this a lot. There's a difference between a person who has a show on YouTube or a show worthy of a network, and then there are content creators. And I'm not saying that either one is good or bad, but there has to be a very clear, there's a very clear distinctiveness to this, where a content creator just takes a phone and they walk around and they just pan around and they write little words on the screen, and it's short. They're not really telling a story. They're giving an opinion. Whereas when you have a show on a platform, you're there to not give your opinion. You're there to really tell the story about the food, about the owner, about how that food got from where it started to where it ended. And if you watch the show that we have, both of us have, we never once give our insights when it comes to rating or critiquing. I never critique food. I'm not a food critic. I never rate food. Who the fuck am I to rate food? I'm nobody.
Well, and that's not true. You are a restaurateur. Like, if anybody should rate food like you.
I know I am, and thank you for that, Aaron. But it's funny. For the past 1 year that I've been doing this, I am so much more humble about everything that I've achieved in my career, because none of it matters. None of that shit matters. It's all in the past. It's what do I do today? It's how do I live my life in the present moment?
Yeah.
And you know, the first video hit 1 million in 4 days.
That's crazy.
Even though it's not his top performing video, it was the fastest to hit 1 million with a guest, a co-host that's never been on a show before.
Well, and that's why he must have brought you. I mean, that must be why he brought you back. You know, you did a bunch of videos with him, and I watched all of them. Like, it was, I normally, if I see a video on YouTube that's over like 12 minutes, I'm like, I don't need to know that much, you know, but your videos were like 19, 20 minutes. And I was like, I'll watch it.
Yeah. We probably are hovering around 30 some odd episodes right now that we filmed together.
30?
And it definitely has been an incredible journey thus far. It's taken us all throughout Vietnam. It's taken us to Minnesota, Texas, Mexico City. And, you know, it really doesn't stop. It just continues onwards.
So you guys are continuing to make content together. Is it mostly on his channel, or does he, like, how much interplay is there between your channel and his channel?
It's mostly on his channel. And we try to film whenever we're in the same city or country. It's challenging to always film together because A, it is his show, you know, and he is the main host on his show. But B, there are a lot of costs involved when filming. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that, you know, we were just in Mexico City. He was there on a 14-day shoot, 12 days shooting. He did 11 episodes, I believe. And it cost him, sorry, Sonny, but it cost him like close to $50,000. 50 for 11 episodes. And so when he travels to the Caribbean, to Africa, to Egypt, it costs a lot of money. And I really cannot ask him to pave my way.
Right.
And it's not fair.
Well,
it's not fair.
Obviously, when he started, he was not doing $50,000 shoots, right? I remember back in the day, his early videos, you know, like, he lived in Vietnam and he did stuff in the neighborhood, right? And it was around Vietnam.
When he first started, he did everything alone. There was only one other camera operator. He built it. I mean, somebody who came from nothing has built a machine that puts out award-worthy, award-winning content. And it all started with his belief.
Mm-hmm.
but he's on my channel once in a while, and I'm always grateful to have him on there. We always have a good time. The chemistry that I think people see on his show or even on my show, it comes from not having an ego. It comes from not thinking that you are any better than anybody else. And again, for the last year, I've been in the kitchen very rarely. And I've been putting myself out there, and my show sucks. It sucks horribly, but it's sucking less and less at 140 episodes in. And if you want to compare numbers, I hit 40,000 before my first 12 months. And in comparison to a lot of other food bloggers, including Sunny, Mark Weens, and even Mike Chen, they didn't hit 40,000 their first year. And I do it, I do a product completely opposite of everybody else. I do a 42-minute long format, no editing, one camera shot, and it's really boring. But there is a market out there who's watching it, and who's supporting me.
What drove you to go for that format?
Number one is I don't know how to edit, and I don't try to hide.
Practical.
I don't try to hide from it. Number two was I didn't want to be like everybody else. I wanted to create my own voice. I wanted to create my own show. I wanted to create something that wasn't about me, but was about the small businesses that we showcase. We and when I say we, it's really just me and my camera. But we go to we go to any small businesses, we go in and we film, and that's it. I want people to know that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to stutter. It's okay to not know what you're talking about. It's okay to not hide behind the edit and just be yourself. And the only way I can do that is just by hitting record and seeing what would happen.
Yeah. I mean, so many videos these days, they're so edited, but they're good with the editing, so it kind of flows, but you can tell it chops it up. Because if there's even a small break in conversation, or like you said, somebody slips up and mispronounces a word or something like that, we can just edit that out, right? Just snip it out.
You can always edit it in post, but again, I wanted to show others that there is no excuse. I invested $600 into my camera setup, and that's it. And that literally is it.
It's a nice camera.
Yeah, and it's taken me around the world, or it's taken me to multiple places, multiple cities. It's given me 130 some odd episodes and 40,000 subscribers. There is no excuse. So for anybody who's watching and says, "Oh, I wish I could travel. I wish I could eat food. I wish I can make money, and I wish." Your phone is probably better than my camera, and everybody has AirPods now, and you can do it. It's just, do you want to be vulnerable enough to put yourself out there and to have people critique you and judge you all day, every day?
Yeah. It's tough.
As a chef, I've been critiqued all my life, and you have to grow a really thick skin. And for those who, say my shit sucks, yeah, you're right, it does suck.
Well, so you've said a couple times now it sucks. Let's think about this. If I was a prospective new watcher, a viewer for your channel, like, give me the elevator pitch, right? Like, in a bit, why should I watch your channel?
You have to really want to know about hardships in life. You got to want to hear the saddest stories from me, and just hear how tough it is in life. That's my whole show. I interview business owners, and I ask them, don't tell me about the Ferrari you bought. Tell me about when you slept in your storage room for the first year, because that's all you could afford.
Mm-hmm.
I have such a no frills, non-happiness about my show.
That's kind of like realist. Have you ever heard of David Goggins?
No, I haven't. Who is that?
Oh, you're giving me real David Goggins vibes right now. So he's this guy. He's this insanely gifted, talented, hardworking athlete and a Navy SEAL. And he has this crazy life story, and it's really amazing. My boss, Ben Kinney, my business partner, Ben, did an interview with him a couple years ago, and he wrote a book called Can't Hurt Me. It's a fantastic book. but yeah, he's a Navy SEAL. He was also an Army or Air Force paramilitary. He had at one point the world record for most consecutive pull-ups in like 24 hours. Like the guy's just insane, and he's a motivational speaker. But his whole thing is like embrace the suck, right? Like you gotta enjoy the gritty, hard, bad days. So it's kind of that you're giving me vibes.
And you do. And again, I don't watch anybody else's channels. I don't watch, anybody's content because I don't want to fray from who I am and my journey. So
you're like Justin Bieber on Instagram. You don't follow anybody.
Oh,
I always think that's so pretentious when you go to a celebrity's Instagram, they follow 0 people. Like, oh, cool. We get it.
It is so pretentious. But, I said, I really believe in everybody has their own journey, and you got to just go out there and do it. Now, how did I do it? I worked 20 years of my life and I saved a lot of money in order to go and do this. I wasn't scared to know my value and know my worth in what my product was and my services was. I never stopped moving ahead, and whether an episode got 50,000 views or it only got 1,000 views, it never stopped me. I just kept pushing forward.
So you mentioned the journey, right? And the journey, and it's almost like the hero's journey, like that ancient fable. In terms of journeying, literal journeys, I know you've been traveling a lot recently. Like, where have you been recently? Where's a place that you've been that you really enjoyed that you hadn't been to? Like, where's your favorite place you've traveled to recently? And then also, where are you going in the future? Do you have plans?
So I got back to America in July of this year, or last year. So we're looking at 6 months ago. And my first stop was San Francisco, the Bay Area, where I spent the last 9 years prior to Vietnam. And I hit the ground running on, at that time, I only had maybe 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. That number is piddly.
Yeah.
And it grew, 2,000 to 40,000? What was that, 20x?
Yeah.
Yeah, it grew 20x in 6 months.
Well, do that again in the next 6 months, I'm not good at math, but that's a much bigger number.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. And the travels have taken me to Northern California, Minnesota, Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and then from Texas, I went down to Mexico City for 2 weeks to film. And then I just got back from Denver 2 weeks ago.
Oh, dope. I'm going to Denver in 2 weeks.
Oh, enjoy yourself, my friend. Enjoy. So we were out there, again, we as in just my camera and I out there for a week filming various places around Denver, Colorado. And
what brought you to Denver?
How did I like Denver?
No, what brought you there?
Oh, just an opportunity. Somebody said, come to Denver and film. I said, okay. There really wasn't anything more than that. I didn't do any research. I didn't say, oh, I had to come here because somebody just said, hey, come to Denver. We'd love to have you out here to film. We'd love for you to film some episodes. I said, I'm hopping on a flight. I'm headed out there ASAP.
Nice.
I'm headed to Colombia this Thursday. I'll be there for a week shooting.
Nice.
And then for the first quarter of this year, Louisiana is somewhat high on my list right now after Colombia. Anywhere that I can tell a story, anywhere that I can eat food and really break down food as a chef of the why do they use certain ingredients, what ingredients do they have in there, what flavor compositions, and try to tell the story of these small businesses who are struggling to survive during this pandemic.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stories of different businesses. Just here locally in my town of 80,000 people, we've got a number of businesses that have had to shut down because of staffing problems. So Speaking of Vietnam, I'm curious because I left Vietnam before the pandemic. I came back
Sure.
to the States December of 2018, and or no, December 2017. And so you were there a couple years later, and you just left, like you said, last year. So what was it like during the pandemic being in Vietnam? What was the response there? And then I heard that there's a mass exodus. A lot of the foreign-born people are heading back to their home countries. What's the situation there?
All right, so COVID COVID came in 2020 in March. I think there was a hardship that we all went through, not knowing what is ahead and what we were facing. The country took care of it well, the best to their ability. And for a good 5 months there wasn't any COVID. There was no transmission between person to person for about 4 or 5 months. And it felt like we won it. We won, and we were living life regularly. And then we go through waves in Vietnam. So when there is a wave and numbers start going up, the government shuts the businesses down. They limit transportation, and they do their very best. Well, this wave that came around in May of last year, April of last year, was a variant that really ripped through the community. And it was something where we didn't have any vaccines available to us in Vietnam. So the numbers were just skyrocketing. And the government had placed a few stricter visa situations for people who were there illegally. When I say illegally, they're on a tourist visa that they kept extending month in and month out. And at that time, the government wasn't giving the vaccine to anybody that was not a Vietnamese citizen.
Makes sense.
I'm a U.S. citizen, so I didn't qualify for it. I'm very close to the U.S. consulate and the consulate general in Vietnam, and they even told me, this is early. This is like in April, May. They said, Calvin, go back to the States, go get your vaccine. We'll make sure your wife and your in-laws are taken care of. But it was teachers and it was Vietnamese citizens were the first ones in line to get the vaccine. I'm not a teacher. And even though I'm a small business owner, I don't count. So Sunny had made a decision to go to America. And I said, have a good time. I'll figure things out. I went home and I talked over my wife, and she said, why don't you go with him? Why don't you go on the biggest adventure of your life? Go see what your stupid show can do. And in a year's time, come back and tell me all your adventures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your wife said that?
Yep. And you know Jang. And she's always been somebody who's like so supportive and so gung-ho about just what happens when you just try something.
Yeah. Wow.
So at first I said no.
Yeah.
But then I said yes. And I packed my bags. And I'm not going to give my viewpoints on COVID for your millions of viewers, because I don't think it matters.
You don't want to get cancel culture after you.
I don't get cancel culture, but
cancel.
But I'm glad that I got vaccinated. It was the first thing I did when I landed here in America. And I haven't caught it. I haven't caught any variants. I feel great. I feel healthy. I am a superstar. But
take your vitamins.
Take your vitamins. That's right. Take your vitamins. Take your apple cider vinegar shot, and have a good diet. I know. But I guess the long story short is that you got to just take those chances in life. And I did. And I followed Sunny out here, and we did the Minnesota series, and I saw my numbers jump from 2,000 to like 10,000 after the Minnesota series aired. And my numbers have not stopped ever since then. Like it just hasn't stopped. And it's those little things in life that you got to believe in. And you got to put yourself into such vulnerable positions so that you may or may not make it. But that's the only time you have growth. If I expect my channel to grow 50,000 a year, it'll take me 10 years to hit 500,000. Or I can take some really interesting opportunities and travels and see my numbers grow exponentially. Wow, I say apple cider vinegar once and you die. Don't worry about it. I'll take over the show. I'm a great host. I'll take the show over. So, people, to the millions of fans who are watching right now, courage starts with just showing up. The things that you think you cannot achieve are all fucking achievable. You just got to go out there and get it. You got to go out there and really work and grind and build what your dreams are all about. There is a quote, and I shall say this quote right now, since I'm trying to buy time for my lovely host, Aaron. I saw this quote recently, and it really resonated with me, and I'll share it with those who want to listen. The quote is this: I firmly believe you're never supposed to wish for more than you're willing to work for. Expectations should never exceed your effort. Everybody wants to be a chef and restaurateur until you open a restaurant, and then you have to work there 366 days of the year. Everyone wants to be an influencer, a content creator, a whatever. You want to do that until you have to live in a $6 hostel and take a budget airline, and communicating is the most challenging thing in a foreign country.
Well, it's like
we all don't.
Ronnie Coleman, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, he said, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. Don't nobody want to lift no heavy ass weight.
Nope. And they don't want to eat 8 times a day the most boringest foods in the world and weigh out every gram of carbohydrate or protein. And it's not an overnight thing. You're doing this for life. You're doing this as long as I'm doing this industry. I will continue traveling, eating foods, and tell people stories, whether I like it or not. Whether I wake up in the morning and.
That's my question. So where do you see this going? Like, what's your ultimate vision, your big picture for where, is it FKN or FKN or FKN?
FKN. I monetize now, so I try not to throw F-bombs too much on my channel.
FKN.
Where's it taking me? It's taking me to wherever it's going to take me. I'm traveling this year without my wife and doing whatever I can to continue and build this channel. And 2023, my wife and I will pack our 1 suitcase and our 2 backpacks, and we will go around the world until we get tired of traveling. And we will see where it takes us in 2024, and we'll make a decision at that very time. And until then, we don't even know where we're going to go to, because the fun isn't sitting around and planning it. The fun is going out there and living it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sit there and plan every single day, down to the hour, down to the minute, down to where you're going to eat it and what you're going to eat. It may never come true. So I love planning. I'm a big proponent on planning, but I think I'm a bigger proponent on living and just getting out there and doing something with your life. Yeah,
no doubt. So one other thing I know that you're interested in is investing, the stock market,
oh, yes.
And crypto and all this kind of fun new internet stuff. So tell me a little bit about what's your involvement level in the investing world.
My involvement level is whatever I make, I take 80% of that and I invest it. It's my piggy bank. I live very meagerly, and I love this life that I live. It's very simple.
80%?
Oh, if I try to go 85 sometimes.
Wow.
So all my food is covered from the show. I charge money for every episode that I do. So I make X amount of money every month.
When you mean you charge money, what do you mean?
So I charge restaurants money for me to go over there and
Really?
do an episode.
How much do you charge?
$400.
Really? So a restaurant will pay you $400 to go eat there?
Yep. And I do 15 episodes a month. My car is 14 years old, and that car was a group of followers on Instagram. They all threw in $100 per person to help me buy a car.
Wow.
I will say this, the strength in social media is incredible. The moment I got my license, I put it out there. I'll do $100 shout out for anybody who wants to invest or who wants to donate $100 to me buying a car. And my goal was $5,000. I got $5,600 in 2 weeks.
Jeez.
Now I earned every single shout out. I gave everybody a shout out every episode. It was one person an episode. It wasn't like it was all bundled into one. I made sure that they knew that they were loved and adored. I hit the ground running the moment I hit America. I did not stop. I started with merch. I started doing shout outs. I started charging for my show. If you want to be a co-host, if you want to experience what it's like to be on my show, I charge for that.
Oh, really? How much do you charge for that?
$400.
Oh, wow. No kidding.
So I try to put as much money of my money in every month into investments.
But when you were first starting out, there's no way you could charge somebody $400, right? Like when
No, for the first year in Vietnam, I never charged a single dollar.
Right.
It was only when I went to America and when I realized my value. I'm valued in America because of who I am and on the shows that I've been on. And so don't be scared to ask for that price. If you see that house and you really like it, don't be scared to put in that aggressive offer, because people are always scared to win. They're always scared to succeed. Now, it took, again, I put out 60 episodes or so before I ever charged for one.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't easy to say, hey, you want me to come by with my 2,000 subscribers and I want to charge you $400 to do a show where I don't do any editing. It might not get any traction or viewership, but you will pay me.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it out there and I got my first 10. And then my next 10. And then I went from city to city, state to state. And I just said, hey, I'm here. Who wants my services? Now, for those who cannot afford my services, I don't say no to them. I give them free shows. There's a group of people that have been there pretty much since I've been back to America. And I'm very close to them. They have supported me tremendously. And they always want to they never want me to let the audience know who they really are. But if I have a restaurant that says, hey, I really love to have you come by. We're a small mom and pop shop. My tribe, I call them my tribe, but my tribe will throw down money on their behalf and say, Calvin, go film. We'll take care of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So from what I've been able to build.
Is this happening like in a Discord channel, or is it just comments on your videos?
It's happening all on YouTube. I answer every comment personally. I have a live premiere on every episode, and we kind of come together in that group chat, and more people come in, and we welcome them in as a tribe. And as a tribal leader, as a tribe leader, I'm really there to let them know that they can achieve anything they want to achieve. And I do a lot of YouTube lives. I do a lot of Instagram lives. Those I don't charge any money, but I spend an hour a week on both platforms. And I tell everybody, I answer questions. I go through every question asked, and I let them know how challenging it is sometimes not knowing where your next paycheck's coming from. Where's your next show going to be? You know, right now in Houston, the numbers are a little high. And so a lot of restaurants are saying, hey, let's push it until February or March. I don't mind that. But it also means that I'm not making any money, but I'm also okay with that, right? So I look at investment purely as a piggy bank. And you don't make money or you don't lose money until you sell that asset. So it's not, I just stuff money away.
And it's been a rough last couple of months. Like it has. People are, yeah.
It has. And right now I'm seeing this beautiful opportunity to go into the market. And so I just went in for 20,000 into the market on stocks that to me can show me. So I base it on who the CEO is. I'm very CEO driven. I'm very message driven. What are they trying to achieve in the world? And then for me, it's, can you make money? If you can make money, I can look at your financials and I can see, are you making any money at all? Because public companies, it's all open market. You got to dig around a little bit.
But sometimes now, like you get these companies that come up like Rivian, right? And Rivian had a huge valuation. I don't remember what it was, but it was a huge valuation, like big. It was bigger than Volkswagen. And they hadn't sold one vehicle yet, right? It was all based on hypothetical future earnings.
And so you can be one of two investors. You can say, hey, I'm going to base it on future earnings, or I'm going to choose companies that I really believe in what they're doing now. So Rivian IPO'd at 100-ish. I got shares at 120 because that's all I could buy into. And then I think at 136, I got out. I don't try to make huge gains like you guys do in the group. I try to make, so my thing is this, I make $200-300 a day, and then I close Robinhood and I'm out. So my position could make, and I know I'm paying taxes, I know I'm doing all this shit, but it's a piggy bank for me.
But it sounds like you're essentially day trading, right?
No, I mean, so for me, I mean, it is day trading in some aspects, but I have a portfolio, and when my portfolio is green, I just pick out the stocks where I feel very comfortable. It made $8, it made $7. I sell off the shareholds to get me to 300. I do that Monday through Thursday. I trade only 1 hour a day. And if I can't make $300 a day in selling off some of my stocks, I buy. I buy until I can get the $300. And I just do that 4 days a week. Now, what does that earn me a month? A couple thousand. But
and then do you take that money and do you reinvest it? Do you put it right back in,
I reinvest
or do you take it out?
I reinvest it. I take it out and I sit on the sidelines a lot. I love sitting on the sidelines. I sat on the sidelines up until this morning, and I went in and I invested into some quality stocks that I really like. I again, I'm very CEO driven, and I think at this bottom of the market, I'm not trying to make $300 a day. I'm trying to put my money in and see, come September of this year is when I go back to Asia and film, where I'm at. But there's nothing in the world that's going to make you money by you not doing anything laborious.
I would sort of disagree with that. I think that with manipulating stocks, you can make money without actually contributing or adding any value, right? Like me buying a stock for this price and selling it for this price, making that money, that doesn't add anything to society per se, except for my involvement.
Yes, and so to balance that out, I'd like to do my show so that I feel like I'm doing something in society. But investment to me is something that I don't know much of, but there are a lot of smart people. I do trust my guts. I do focus on the company's values and what they're all about. But I just started trading 6 months ago. And again, it's same thing with crypto, right? I don't invest into crypto to make $1 million. I park my money in there while I have nothing else to do with my money. I just park my money in there as a place to park. Now it's gone up and I cash out every time it goes up. I just cash out because I have very good. I'm okay with making $200 on a crypto trade. I'm very okay with it. I know a lot of people are like, keep it in there. I don't have any reason not to keep it in there for it. Just take it out. And then
but I mean, imagine this situation, right? Like, you remember Dogecoin?
Yeah.
So Dogecoin came out and Elon Musk was tweeting about it, and there's all this buzz and there's all this hype. And that it started from, 0.0002 cents per Dogecoin, right? And I got in early around that price, and I put, I think, $200 into it. Like, I was just like speculative. If I lose this, whatever, here's $200. And then there was all this hype. It got inflated. It jumped up, like 300%, 400% in one day, right? It went up to 1,000% in a couple of days. Now, at that point, I'm thinking, like, realistically, is this a good valuation for this, or is it just riding a hype, right? So I sold it, and then sure enough, shortly after, it balanced out and it came down again, right? And so holding on to it is fine, but only if you're sure that it's going to go up. And over the last couple of months, we've seen the market just get tanked.
Sure. I don't want to be rich ever again.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Say more about that.
I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be rich again. I don't want to be any more fame worthy or be more notable than I am right now. I asked for very little in this lifetime.
So you don't want any more subscribers?
Whether I got one more or zero more, I would still do what I do. I am on the #2 show in the world when it comes to food and travel. It's nice when I get stopped in public. It's nice when people ask for pictures. It's nice when people, share with me their stories openly, and they trust in me. And beforehand, I always wanted to be famous, and I always wanted to have notoriety, and I always wanted to have all those things. And I achieved it in a small scale in Saigon to what I always wanted, but I never got it to a larger level. The moment that I hit America was the moment everything changed. Was the moment that I would walk down the street and people would just stop and say, "Oh my God, it's you." And I'm like, do I owe you money? Did I date your ex-girlfriend?
It depends on how they say it. They're like, "Oh my God, it's you."
No, they're just so happy. And they're just so like, I cannot believe it's you. And it's been a few months now, so I kind of get used to it, but I don't deserve any of that. I don't deserve any of this fame or notoriety because I'm a regular person. If there's ever a point in my fucking life right now.
Justin Bieber's a regular person. He takes a shit in toilets just the way we do.
Exactly. And so we should not treat him any differently. We should not treat him any differently. There's never been a point in my life where I felt that I don't fucking matter. What really matters is everybody out there who doesn't get a chance to be seen or heard the way I get to. And to me, my life, my purpose right now is to go out there to let as many people as I can know that you can fucking do it. I spend every waking hour, I spend every social media, I spend all my time on social media being a regular person. I take pictures of videos of stray cats. I put my head onto other people's bodies. I don't do it because I try to be famous. I do it because I want to show everybody that I'm just a regular person who you just happen to admire. So if I can take that little bit of time and energy, if I can let people know that you can fucking do this too, how much do you want to sacrifice for it? Then I use social media in a way that speaks to everybody 24/7, 365. I'll share a story with you. There was this is before I had the numbers. I was just first starting out. And there was this kid, he's been in foster care all his life. They moved him from Northern California to Walla Walla, Washington, which is nearby where you're at.
Is he in prison?
No.
Okay, there's a big prison there.
Foster care.
Okay.
And he's in high school, and he just reached out to me on Instagram. And me being the loser that I am, I answered his DM. And we had a long conversation. He said, "Oh, I love what you do with Sunny, and it's so fun to watch you." And this is one of the first times anybody has ever spoken to me in that light. And I said, "Hey, if you want to do it, kid," he's underage, 16 or 17. Said, "You have a phone, you have earphones, go out there. Film yourself eating food. Describe the flavors. Tell me about the burger shop or the hot dog stand or the pizza parlor, whatever it is." And there's free software that you can sit there and edit, and you can make your thumbnail on Canva, and you can do anything you ever wanted to, because there's so much great technology right now. And then we left the conversation kind of like, okay, well, that's all I have to say. I have to admit, I didn't think anything of it, because I've never had a fan in my life. I've had fans of like you guys who love my food and who love what we do for the restaurants, but this is a fan who has never met me. And it's different in that light, that you idolize somebody who you've never met. A couple of weeks go by. I don't think about this situation, because I don't know. I don't think about myself in any shape or way or form as a celebrity. So he writes to me and says, "Hey, I'm sorry if the other night," again, it's opposite time, right? So his night is our day in Vietnam. He says, "I'm so sorry if I acted loopy." And I said, "Dude, you're a high school kid. Who fucking cares? Like, I was loopy at 16, 17. He said this. He said, "I reached out to 3 people that night: Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, and FKN Deliciousness."
Wow, you made the top 3.
Top 3. And he said, "You're the only one who answered." Now, I wanted to tell him, "Of course, kid, because I'm a loser," but okay. I answered. He said that he took a bunch of Xanax that night, and he's ready to. And by talking to me, he fought for his life. He fought to stay alive.
Wow.
And that really, and I told my wife, of course, and she said, "You have a voice. You have people out there who will listen to you. So what do you do with this gift? What do you do with your voice?" My show is about the hardships. It's about my failures. It's about the times that I've been homeless, or the investments that didn't pan out, or just everything that I've done wrong in my life. The show has never been about me. It's never been about what I like or what I don't like. It's always about the journey of me just hitting that record button to see what's going to happen. So do I want to be rich again? No. Do I want to see my investments pay back 300x? I don't care. Because to me, $300 a day, and I pay the government 40% of that, so 160. 160 times 4 times 52. is basically money that I earned using my mind. And whether whether I hold on to a stock for a year and pay less capital gains, whether the stock hits it in a year, whether whatever, or the long-term investor, we all have a different way of investing. I can't say one's right or one's wrong, but it's the way that I invest, and I don't see anybody do it the way I do it. Again, I will sell a stock if it gains $6 that day, but I'll do it multiple times. And I sit until I see something at a low from the 52-week high. Sweet greens right now is something that I'm very, very hot on. It's a very Gen Z product. It was down to 23 last Friday. Their high was 78, I believe. They are very big on with Gen Zs when it comes to eating. But I like, oh, they're 29 right now. So I got in at 23. So that's good. That's good. I should go sell tomorrow.
Or if you really believe in it, hold on to it a little longer.
I believe in it. I believe in it so much that I'm going to sell tomorrow, make $400, and then wait till it gets back down to 23 and then buy again.
If it comes back down, man, that's an interesting strategy. I don't know if I've ever heard. I think that's very unique strategy. It's Calvin.
It's unique. My portfolio is deep. I don't invest a ton of money into the stocks. I invest 500 to 1,000 into one stock. I let it sit there. It makes. I buy more. I buy newer stuff. I buy stuff that looks good. It's something with crypto. It's just a place to park money. I don't think of it as a money earner that's going to hit 100,000 for Bitcoin or $250,000. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Who fucking cares? Who cares if it hits a $250,000? Maybe you do.
I would love that. I mean, that'd be great. I don't have much, but yeah.
I bought into the dip. I'll sell when I feel comfortable. I'll buy more. There's so much on the NASDAQ to buy. There's so much on S&P to buy. There's just so much to buy. And
it's all on sale right now.
It's all on sale right now. So for those who are hurting right now in the market,
Hodl.
Tough shit. You got yourself into it. Get yourself out of it.
No compassion. Tough
no
love.
empathy. What's empathy? What's empathy for? You bought into it. So now just wait until it gets back up. I mean, nothing you can do to make that stock rise or fall. We all got to realize that nothing we can do as human beings can make that stock go up or down.
That used to be true until GameStop came around. And the Wall Street Bets community was able to pump up that stock, which is why it rose from, like $10 up to 200 something. It was that historic pump.
But we are not Wall Street Bets. We are just Calvin and Aaron, just two friends for the last 7 years or so. And all we can do is manage our portfolio. All we can do is share some of the buys that look attractive in the market, that look sensible, that look like it has some legs. But all we can do is manage our portfolio. And at the end of the day, that's my only job. So to have empathy for those who invested a bunch of money into the 401k, listen, you're young, you're virile, go make more money and wait
and make some babies. You're virile.
Make some babies, yeah. Whoa. And wait for the stock prices to come back up to where they were, that you broke even, or you were at the levels you were before, or do what I do. Sell, get out your positions, and sleep well at night. And then in the morning, get a cup of coffee, put on CNBC, and go out there and go buy some stuff.
Wow.
I sleep really well at night because my positions aren't there. And I'm just like, oh, well, I made my money, so I'm good. And I pay Uncle Sam his share. And it's okay because I'm in the lowest income bracket you could ever find. I'm not W-2'd, I'm not 1099. I'm cash in hand.
Oh Lord, the IRS is going to be on your tail, bro. You just said that on a recording.
I know.
Now you're going to get audited.
Million people. But I do claim 10,000 that I make every year. That's what I make every year. I claim 10,000. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like when you travel internationally with $9,999. No taxes.
Somebody has to expense those expenses. That's me.
Petty cash.
Petty cash.
All right, man.
We good?
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. It was great to hear your perspective on everything in the restaurant industry. And I really, I hadn't gotten to talk to you in a while, and I really appreciated that. Yeah. And hopefully we can get together again.
What are you going to do with this show? Is this going to be an every week thing? Are you going to be at this?
I don't know. It might be every week, every 2 weeks. We're not quite sure yet. It's a work in progress, and it's a living piece of art. So it'll adapt over time. For right now, it's long form, semi-long form conversations. And I just want to talk to.
This is not even long format. Joe Rogan is long format. What do we have?
Well, sure.
An hour?
Sure. Medium format.
An hour 10, hour 20?
Medium format.
This is nothing, bro. This is so
medium format. And just conversations. So,
I didn't know. I'm up. Okay. Let's go. Stop.
You're up?
I'm up.
On the Robinhood?
I'm up on Sweet Greens. I'm up on a few other things.
Good for you.
But I'm up.
Go sell them.
Hey, we haven't been putting our investment bids into our group, into our Facebook group.
Yeah.
What's up? Everybody's so quiet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's when it's good, when times are good and all the stocks are rising and growth is exploding, then everybody's posting in there and sharing advice. And then when things are down, over the last couple of months, the market's kind of faltered and people don't seem to be as active. It's kind of funny how that
works. On a $1,000 investment, if you're down 20%, you're down $200.
If you sell.
It's not life and death. So go and make other hedge bets. Go make other hedge investments. Go out there and go be amazing. And
don't invest any money you can't afford to lose, right? It's like it's not gambling.
But you don't lose. You don't lose unless you sell. So I hate that terminology. Don't invest anything that goes towards bills, recurring bills. Anything else, do what you want with it. But my living expenditures a month, maybe $1,000 all in. $1,000 all in, and I live quite comfortably because it's the lifestyle that I want. And and when you have a lot, when you have so much, it is just more headaches to worry about.
More money, more problems.
That's right. Go be amazing. Have me on your 50th episode.
I can't have you back before that.
You can, but I want to see you hit 50. But I want to see this every week, dude. I mean, it takes an hour of your life.
Yeah. Well, to record and then any editing and all that.
Are you going to edit this?
I will now because this part's going to be weird, to be on the recording.
Why? This is great. I want people to see who we really are.
Well, especially because this is going to be audio. I'm putting this on podcast. Like I'll keep the video and I'll put it on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
But the main driver is going to be the audio format.
Do people not want to hear what I have to say about tomatoes at minute 82?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about tomatoes?
No.
Oh, okay.
But if they waited this far into the episode, they would have heard a tomato joke.
Yeah. And they got it.
Go be amazing, dude.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. You too. Appreciate you.
All the best, brother.
Talk to you later.
Later.